Orient, brightness of the eternal light, and Son of righteousness, come and lighten them that sit in darkness and in the shadow of death. So today the Antiphon begins with this title, Orient, or it might also be translated Dayspring or Dawn. It's really talking about Christ not only being identified with the light or the sun, but specifically the sun at this particular moment, at its rising, in this action of the light dawning upon us, which is really kind of cool. It reminds me of actually this memory that I have from St. Bridget, which is a church where I worked before I entered seminary in Richmond. And there in that church, they have this big stained glass window right above the altar, above the tabernacle in the sanctuary. And that window is facing east. So if if I was there early in the morning, you could see the sun kind of rising through that window. And it was an image of the crucifixion in that window. But it was really cool, kind of, especially during the celebration of the Eucharist at the early morning Mass, to kind of see Christ illuminated by the rising sun during the Mass. And I think that experience just kind of helped me, grow to understand Jesus a little bit better in that particular aspect of what it means for him to be the dawning light upon us. And in addition to that, I recognize, for any of us who pray the Liturgy of the Hours, the breviary, which is kind of the daily, hourly prayer of the church based on the Psalms and the Scriptures, the church actually, in this Liturgy of the Hours, gives us an opportunity to pray on that image every day. So in morning prayer, every day we pray what's called the Canticle of Zechariah, which is a text that Zechariah, the father of John the Baptist, says in the first chapter of the Gospel of Luke. And there's a part of it, just towards the end of it, that says this: "In the tender compassion of our God, the dawn from on high shall break upon us, to shine on those who dwell in darkness and the shadow of death, and to guide our feet into the way of peace." And so at the physical sunrise every day, we have this opportunity to pray about the dawn from on high, which is Christ. It's an interesting shift as well from the beginning of this canticle. The first line is, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Israel. He has come to his people and set them free." So it's talking past tense or present perfect. And then to the end where it shifts to future, where it says, "The dawn from on high shall break upon us." And, why is that? Because, we can recognize Christ, the Son of Righteousness, has dawned upon us. He has been born for us at Christmas. And we celebrate that every year. We remember that every year. And yet, at the same time, holding that together, we still recognize there's a lot of darkness in our world. And we still await his coming in a different sense. You could say, so to speak, the dawn to end all dawns has not yet come upon us, even though he has dawned upon us. And so though we see hints of his rays, though we see glimpses of his light in our lives, we still live kind of awkwardly in between the already and the not yet. And so this is a place where we wait, and we wait in hope. We wait in hope because it's a hope that's well grounded because of who we know and believe Christ to be, who he's revealed himself to be. He has dawned in our lives to show us who he is. And yet he directs us to know that he's still coming, that this dawn is still coming for us. And this is part of the reason why the traditional direction of prayer, direction of Christian prayer, is to the east, because it's such a potent image of him whom we hope for, and a reminder for us when he comes that we want to be oriented to him. We want to be ready to welcome him. And so, I think it's interesting today that the church gives us this particular antiphon today on December 21st, which is the shortest and the darkest day of the whole year. That's no mistake. It's really trying to show us that it's this darkness, it's the greatest darkness into which Christ greatly desires to shine his light. And so for us, it's a good opportunity as we reflect on this antiphon to recognize the darkness in our lives and to recognize our need for light. And instead of, turning to the little lamps or flashlights of this world that, whatever that might be for you, the finite sources of light that we might turn to, let's turn to the Lord. Let's turn to the true light and really hold that hope in him that he has dawned on us and that he promises to give us that fullness of his dawning. And so even in this time, if everything seems so dark, let's give that darkness to him. Let's let him into that darkness, because that's particularly where he desires to come. He desires to, as the Canticle of Zechariah says, to shine on those who dwell in darkness and the shadow of death, and to guide our feet into the way of peace.
Oriens, splendor lucis aeternae, et sol justitiae, veni et illumina sedentes in tenebris et umbram mortis. O come, O Dayspring from on high, and cheer us by your drawing nigh. Disperse the gloomy clouds of night, and death's dark shadow